Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Racha Kudash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is The Dark Light of Satan. And pretty much this video is inspired by a video I was watching earlier, plus other things I was listening to yesterday. And, just thoughts that were coming into mind. And there was actually one more video that I forgot to put up that I was actually watching yesterday also. And that would be, you're going to have to type this one in, but Lord's will, when we get to it, we get to it. Now this video here is put up on Elder Bishop Inap's channel, iSolve 144. Exclusive interview with Lucifer, 2 Thessalonians 2:8. Now, what I want to do is right off the rip, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Lord's will, this will be an edifying lesson, is to let you know that this is a Christian depiction of a Christian having an interview with the spiritual demon Satan, and the spiritual demon Satan giving him the breakdown of his intentions and the things that he's done and is doing, to destroy people in general. That's, how they put it. But what I want to say is the word Lucifer itself, or the name Lucifer itself, is not a personalized name. It's not really even a name, but it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a descriptive title. All right. So the way they're doing it, they're saying that this is Lucifer, this is spiritual demon Satan, which the spiritual demon Satan is not called Lucifer. Okay, he is not called Lucifer. All right. Lucifer just simply means dawn bearer, or the bearer of the light. All right. So I just want to get that right off the top. But what this is good for is to show you, how this society pretty much works off of a left-hand energy. All right. I was also watching, or not watching, I was listening to this Aquarius, the Age of Evil full movie, which is 2 hours, 18 minutes long, 44 seconds. And pretty much I listened to about a half hour so far. And this is a file that I downloaded from YouTube years ago, and I made an MP3 file and I put it, so that I could listen to it on my phone. I have a whole lot of, files that way, which MP3 file is a lot smaller, so you could fit more. It doesn't take up as much space as a video does. So I was listening to this. And pretty much in this video, there's a testimony from different people, given, the origins of this demonic agenda, New World Order, Theosophy, Madame Helena Blavatsky, so on and so forth. And this devil here, Sir Big Nose Brzezinski. That's what I call him. And pretty much, is going into that whole history of this agenda that they have and what's called the Age of Aquarius, which Lord's will, we're going to get into that. And the other video I was watching yesterday, which Elder Inap sent to me, was Out of Shadows, the official documentary 2020 with Mike Smith, Liz Crocken. And pretty much this was an actual stuntman for Hollywood. And he pretty much defected and became a so-called Christian, and pretty much exposed the inner workings of the networks and the things that these channels, programs, televisions do to the psyche, to the mind, and from people from being a child up, and programming them into the ways of this world, to the darkness of this world. And that's the agenda you see that they're pushing out right now. All right, so what I want to do is, we're going to start off with the Age of Aquarius, because this is called Aquarius, the Age of Evil, and pretty much these devils are looking to push this New World Order agenda into the future. Because let's start off real quick with the book of Psalms, the 49th chapter and the 11th verse. Psalms 49:11. Their inward thought is, that's why it says that the heart is deep. So their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. So they never think they're going down. These devils have that pride, the pride of Esau, the pride of thine heart has deceived thee. It says, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their name. So they don't think that they're ever going down. They think ever since they got into power, that they set themselves up into power. And they think that they're going to continue to rule continuously. That's why they have this whole movement of the Age of Aquarius. Now, the Age of Aquarius says, because an age, it depends on what you're speaking about. You can have an age as far as an empire ruling, which that age would be from the beginning of that empire to the ending of that empire. That was the age of the Egyptians, or that was the age of the Babylonians, or that was the age of the Assyrians, so on and so forth. Now, in the cosmos, up in the heavens, you have, the so-called zodiac sign, which the Heavenly Father set it up in righteousness. These devils use it in wickedness. And when you type that in, the zodiac signs, they'll give you the different star formations and what they mean, so on and so forth. That is used on the right-hand side for righteousness, but it's also used by Esau on the left-hand side. Now, from one zodiac sign to the next, it's a period of 2,100 and around 25 years. All right? So right now we're, in the age of Pisces, and they're ushering in the future agenda into the age of, Aquarius, because they believe that they're going to continue to rule forever. It says, so when is the age of Aquarius coming? Astrologers argue about the age of Pisces ends. The calculated launch of the age of Aquarius should be in the 22nd century, around 2160. And yet 2021-7 planet stellium in Aquarius led other theorists to believe that we've arrived. So some say that it's already here. Some say it's coming in 2160. All right. And even when you say, are we in the age of Aquarius 2023? It says in 2023, the location of the sun on the March equinox is in the constellation of Pisces, but also on the border of Aquarius. So we are slowly moving into a new age from Pisces to Aquarius. And all of these different documentaries, especially this one here, are bringing in the new age movement. And these are all satanically inspired to push their agenda. This is why every movie, damn near every song you listen to, not so much as conscious stuff, but more so, and even the conscious stuff has all of that in there too, but more so the mainstream stuff that they allow on the mainstream because they control the media. All that stuff is set up to program people. That's why this individual here, I believe his name is Mike Smith, this guy that was a stuntman, when he first came to the knowledge of it, he was very skeptical, but then he started the more he researched into it, the more he started to find out, and he found out about the television, how you have channels, how you have programs, which we've spoken about all of these things in the past, because the television is the main vehicle that they're using to bewitch the people. And through that is what they're using to push this satanic agenda that they have. When we go to Isaiah, the 19th chapter, and the 14th verse, is that the Lord hath what? Mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof. So no matter what you get into, you get into law, there's corruption there. You get into politics, there's corruption there. You get into religion, there's corruption there. You get into, whatever it is you get in, entertainment, especially, there's corruption there. Because the agenda is to infiltrate all facets of everyday social life, to distort it. This is why you have the Jesuits, and you have two main factions of the Jesuits. You have the apostolic succession, which the apostolic succession are the Jesuit priests that are trained to infiltrate religions, to turn them back to the Roman Catholic Church. Then you have the temporal power. The temporal power are the Jesuits that are set up to infiltrate political arenas to bring them back to the ideologies of the Roman Catholic Church. This is why in the book of Revelation, the 16th chapter, it speaks about, the three unclean spirits like frogs came out of the mouth of the dragon, which that's the Roman Empire today, America, out of the mouth of the beast, which is NATO and the EU, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, which is the Roman Catholic Church. Now, the Roman Catholic Church is located at what is called the Vatican. The Vatican pretty much is a compound word. You have the Latin word vates, V-A-T-E-S, which is Latin for prophet. And you have the word at the end, can, which is a Mayan word, which means serpent. The prophets of the serpent. And that's not a coincidence. And even if you research it, some sources will tell you yay, but the majority of them will tell you nay, because they got to protect their interests. Just like when you type in, is such and such bad for you or good for you, you're going to get a lot of conflicting, results. And this is why dealing with the truth today, is so complicated to be able to be led through research to the actual truth, because there are so much, so many obstacles and pitfalls out there to remove people. So you have to be directly inspired by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So today, although knowledge has increased, as the scriptures say, and there's so many avenues to get information, there's also a lot of avenues to fall, because they have those pitfalls, those traps there, and they're very meticulous with it. Remember, cunningly devised fables. So the Lord has mingled the perverse spirit, and they're pushing that agenda through their entertainment, through their political arenas, in whatever way they can get it. So the word perverse is the word ayam, distorting, perverting, warping, right? So when something is distorted, it is not in its proper context. It's blurry, and this is why they use elements of Christianity, religion, the Bible, to pretty much push forward their agenda, because they know without the use of the Bible, they cannot push it. This is why in the book of Eli, the movie The Book of Eli, Carnegie said, which was Gary Oldman played that, he said, they need the book, because he understands the power of the book, and he wanted to use the power of the book to gather the people, because he said they will believe it if it says it in the book. So they have to use it, but in a perverting, distorted way. Distort, pull or twist out of shape. See? Give a misleading or false account or impression of. Like God died for everybody. The Lord's son, his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, died for everybody. That's a distortion or a perversion of the truth. And even this devil here was saying that, that all people are one race, which that's not technically true. All people do come of Adam that are on the face of this earth today, but all people are not the same nation. When we go to Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter, the Lord divided the nations. Okay? He set them up as nations. Because if we were all one so-called human family, why did the Lord divide everything into nations? Think about it. All right? So perverting, warping, distorting. All right? Temper of distorting, warped judgment. All right? And when the judgment is warped, like if you ride on your bike and you hit a curb, right? Your 10-speed bike or your car, and you get that bubble that pops out of the tire, you're not gonna get a smooth ride. It's gonna be distorted. It's gonna be warped. You know, and the car is gonna run or the bike is gonna run crazy. You know, but for most people, that is the normal. They believe that to be normal. And most people out there, especially Jake, don't question anything. And the ones that do have the mind to question, they ask the wrong questions. And they get caught up in the wrong things. And when you try to explain to them the truth, they ain't trying to hear it because they're so analytical that they analyze their way out of the truth. God damn. Shit. All right, so going to... So we get the idea on that. So now there is a song from the Fifth Dimension. This was a group, a Jake group. There was 5 members, 3 men, 2 women. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about it. Elder Apostle Gabar knows a lot more about this than I do. But they had a song. I'm not sure if they wrote the song or if the song was written for them to sing. But it was called Aquarius, Let the Sun Shine In. Now, why is that important? Well, the reason why it's important is because it plays right into Bible prophecy dealing with Lucifer. When we read Isaiah 14:12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Yahushua said, I seen Satan as lightning fall from heaven, meaning the adversary, physical adversary of the Most High on the earth. When we look up this word, O Lucifer, or the word Lucifer, you see it's like a personalized name with the first letter capitalized. But it should not be that way, because when you go to the different versions, not the different versions, when you go to the, let's see if the Vulgate right here, if you could see it. If not, you can go to it yourself, which is the Latin translation. You see Lucifer, all small case, because it's not a personal name. When you go to the Spanish is capitalized, but when you go to different ones, the word is not capitalized. Then it says here, how you are falling from heaven, O shining star. All right? Because it's not a personalized name. It simply means the bearers of the light. When we go there, you have the word Hayalal in the Hebrew. Hayalal in the Hebrew is light bearer or light carrier. The Greek word for Hayalal or light bearer is the Greek word Iosphoros, right here. Iosphoros, like phosphorus, Iosphoros. Eos is light. Photos is to carry. You know, the light carriers. This is what it means. Now, what light is it talking about? It is talking about the dark light of Satan. When we go to, not Isaiah, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, you have 2 opposing lights. You have the light of Yahushua and you have the light of Satan on the earth. The light of Yahushua is being pushed by his prophets, his men. The light of Satan is being pushed by Lucifer on the earth, which is Esau, which are the sons and daughters of the spiritual demon Satan. 2 Corinthians 4:3 says, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. Why? In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. Through what? Through the dark light of Satan. This illuminated thing. And it's so bad that you even have Jakes out there that are heavily steeped in atheism. And that was like unheard of years ago for Jake to be steeped in that, you know. But this is how perverse this place has gotten. You know, you have Jakes that are deep into that, because the scriptures say that Jake has become more wicked than the wicked. You know, Sammy Davis Jr., for instance. You know, I was watching a short by Jamie Foxx, and he was telling, Jamie Foxx about Satan, so on and so forth. So he was all up into that, and you had other Jakes that's deep into it. Jamie Foxx himself is into something. What it is, I don't know, but for him to be out in that world and to still be on top like he is, you have to sell out. Remember what Satan told Yahushua. All of these things I will give you if you will bow down to me and worship me. All right? So you're not going to make it in this world unless you bow down to Satan. And the proof of that is those that resist, they're blackballed, blacklisted. And then eventually, if they sell out, then they get back up on top. And we've seen many cases of that. But others that didn't sell out, they have to go underground and make their money underground, which they're not going to make as much, but at least they stay wholesome, so to speak. All right, it says, least the what? The light of the glorious gospel of Yahushua, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them, because on these that believe not, the light of Satan is shining on them. All right? So, you get the idea with Lucifer. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Right? And another description of Lucifer is Venus. Lucifer, light bearer, shining one, morning star, Lucifer, of the king of Babylon and Satan. No, it has nothing to do with Satan. Satan, small case, which is the adversary, which is Esau. Hillel or Hayalal describing the king of Babylon. And when you look and you keep looking into this and you keep researching it, it's going to lead you to the planet Venus, which is the brightest star in the morning star. So Esau being the illuminated ones, whose light, is the shiniest light on the earth outside of the Israelites, they are, compared to Venus or the morning star. All right, Yahushua is also compared to Lucifer on the right-hand side. And when we say that, how can you say that? Oh my goodness, I can't believe he said, because they don't understand the meaning of words. This is an emotional nation, that has, emotions, just stuck on emotions. So in the song Aquarius, Let the Sun Shine In by the Fifth Dimension, it says, when the moon is in the seventh house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then peace will guide the planets and love will steer the stars. So pretty much this is going into what? Into the constellation worship on the left-hand side, which is something that Satan, which was the actual man in the garden, presented to Eve, and Eve brought it to Adam. This is why when we go to Genesis 3, Yahushua and the angels had a council after, Adam and Eve went off, right? Genesis 3:22, and it says, and the Lord power said, the Yahweh's powers said, behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. See? So this is what the whole mission of Esau is today. To push this agenda as a benevolent thing to help humanity, but it's nothing more than the same deception that took place in the garden. That's why the Apostle Paul came back and said, I marvel that you are so soon removed from him, into another gospel. And he also said, at least you should be, how does that go? 2 Corinthians 11 and 3. But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety. See, and these devils are very subtle. You know, and this is why it says never trust thine enemy. Even if he comes humbling down and say, oh man, this guy's kind of all right. He's kind of, nah. Don't trust that devil. Don't trust them devils over there. It says, so your mind should be corrupted from the what? Simplicity that is in Yahushai. Right, because this truth is very simple. It's nothing complicated about it. You know? So going back, it says, this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius. And dawning is very important because this is what they plan on doing, bringing in or ushering in the new age, which is set up upon these demonic principles that they have. All right. It says harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding. No more falsehoods or derisions. Right. Because the reason why they don't want any more falsehoods or derisions is because they're going to finally come out and tell the world the truth, that they are the devil. Golden living dreams of visions. Right. Who's golden living dreams of visions for? The so-called elite. Mystic crystal revelation. See, going back to theosophy, going back to witchcraft, you know, and the mind's true liberation, which that's what Satan told Eve, right? Oh, no, the Lord knows not that once you know, you do this, no, you're going to be all right, you know? You're not going to die, you know? So this was the liberation that the serpent, which is an actual man, gave to Eve in the garden, right? So it says here, Genesis 3:4, and the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die, for the Most High doth know in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And this is what theosophy and everything that comes along with it is presenting. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, because she was enlightened by the dark light of Satan, and a tree to be desired to make one wise. See? And we know that the scriptures say in Ecclesiasticus chapter 19 and verse 22, it says, the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. So just because there's knowledge in it, this is not wisdom. There's another one. Let's see. We're going to go back to that. Let me see if it'll come up this way. Nope. Let's see if it'll come up as this. There's one, I believe it's Corinthians. I can't think of the actual quote. Something along the lines of all knowledge edifieth not, something like that, but obviously it's not edifieth not because it's not coming up. I mean, if you brothers know where it's at, you can post it, and I'll, you know, if I see it, I'll read it. So Ecclesiastes 19:22, the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. Right. Because this is a counsel of sinners. That's why it says, King David said, let's go to Psalms 1 and 1. Should know that already. Psalms 1 and 1. But sometimes, hey, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. You see? Can you see? All right. So, let's go back to these lyrics. Let's see if a brother knows the scripture I'm talking about. I believe it's in 1 Corinthians. Beautiful. Oh, man. Tuwada, my brother. Tuwada. 1 Corinthians 6 and 12, all things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient, right? Because all things are not, because the word expedient, X is out, ped is foot. So everything is lawful, but everything doesn't move the gospel forward. If you know it, good for you. But if it's not edifying, then it can't be used. It's good to know, but if it's not edifying, because everything we're supposed to do all things unto edification. It says, all things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any. Let's see this one. 1 Corinthians 10:23, all things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. That's it. It was edified, but I put edifieth. Okay? So, going back to the lyrics, golden living dreams of vision for the elite, so-called elite, mystic crystal revelation, and the mind's true liberation, Aquarius, Aquarius. Because that's what they're pushing it into. All right? Beautiful. This is another good one. James 3:15, this wisdom descended not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. That's right. So it goes on to say, when the moon is in the 7th house and the Jupiter aligns with Mars, the peace will guide the planets and love will steer the stars. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, so on and so forth. Right? Let the sun shine in, let the sun shine in, the sunshine, the sunshine, the sunshine. You see? So it keeps going back to what? To the sunshine. What sunshine? The dark light of Satan. Going back to Lucifer, old morning star. And that's what they're pushing. You know, in this documentary, Out of the Shadows, you know, they push that heavy demonic agenda. You know, when the parties that they have, the incantations that they do, so on and so forth, you know. And this is why in Isaiah 47:12, the Lord said, stand now with thine enchantments. What are the enchantments? These incantations, these different witchcraft things that they do to push forward their agenda. Let's go. Let me get this real quick. And then let me make sure which one it is, and then we'll go back. Nope, it's got to be 9. Yeah, all right. So it says, so the word enchantments is the word chabar, which means companion, association, company, band, which is what? They're priests on the left-hand side. Remember, every nation had magi's. Every nation had their wise men that operated, you know, by watching the stars or whatever the case may be. You could go back to the Egyptians, the Sumerians, all of those different nations had a form of a priesthood on the left-hand side. You know, because they're trying to mimic what the Lord, you know, is doing on the right hand side. All right, here it says a magician, charmer, spell, right? Because in America itself, you have, I mean, I don't know if it's changed since this guy John Todd exposed it, but you had, because he was a member of the Council of 13, which were the 13 top witches and warlocks on the planet. You know, all for America, you know. And I have a feeling that back when I was in the military, I don't really speak about that because I'm, you know, not really crazy about it, but it was necessary at the time. I put it like that. I had a roommate, this Edomite. And I believe now, you know, after the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai brought me into the truth, that this guy was a witch. And he was my roommate. You know, and he would try to, you know, cast spells on me because one time he tried to put a curse on me, you know. And I didn't think much of it back then because I was simple. You know, I was like, man, F you goddamn devil. You know, you're honky, you know. That was my attitude, like, fuck you, you know. Excuse my French. But he did try to do that. And I remember what he said, but, you know, I'm not going to repeat it. But then later on, when I was listening to John Todd and I started to reflect on how there was a lot of recruiting going on in the military, I was like, oh shit, this guy was an actual witch. You know, he was an actual witch that was trying to put a curse on me, and then, you know, they was recruiting other Edomites into that whole satanic shit. You know, so this is what, so the Lord is saying, stand up now with your enchantments and with the multitude of thy what? Sorceries. The word sorceries is kashap, sorcery, witchcraft. Right, and in witchcraft, they cast spells. You know, they use drugs, because that was one thing that they were heavy into. And this guy, John Todd, spoke about that. How they were heavy into drugs. You know, it says, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth, because from the inception of this place, America, and even going all the way back to the Greeks, Romans, and all that, all they've been doing is using witchcraft. You know, this is nothing new. This place was set up under the principles of witchcraft, but with the veil of so-called Christianity. Because when you look at those so-called forefathers, you know, they were pretty much Masons. A lot of them were Masons. They were into the witchcraft, all of that. You know, and then when you bring that out, no, well, you know, he really wasn't, this guy wasn't that, this, whatever. And even though they show these devils with regalia, you know, Freemasonic regalia on and everything, they still try to deny it. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Right, so stand up with all of these things that you've done from your youth, you know, and see if you're going to be able to prevail, to set up your agenda for your Age of Aquarius. It says, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels, right? Because they have counsels on this. Like, what's the next step? This is why you have all of these different meetings, the WEF meetings and the, you know, different meetings around the world, the Bilderberg meetings, the, you know, the Sonoma County meetings out there, the Bohemian Grove, because they're pushing their agenda forward faster, which means they have to have more counsels, and they're, you know, they're caught up in pushing this agenda forward. You know, it says, let now the astrologers, see, remember we read here in the lyrics, you know, mystical crystal revelation in the mind's true liberation. And then the moon is in the seventh house, and Jupiter aligns with Mars. The peace will guide the planets, and love will steer the stars. This is a straight up witchcraft song. You know, like I could find out who actually wrote it. You know, if I do the research on it. You know, but it was written for that purpose. So it says the stargazers. See. Then now we read about the stargazers, Jupiter and Mars, and, you know, the liberation, the mystical, this, that, and the other. The monthly prognosticators, because they're giving you blow by blow of what's happening and what's coming by reading the stars on the left-hand side. Stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Let's see if they can liberate you. Talking about the mind liberation. Let's see if they can liberate you from this destruction that's coming and from the slavery that you're going to go into. Behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them, they shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame, right? Because all of your dreams are going to go up in smoke. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it, right? Because there won't be anything left here on the soils of America. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants, right? So all peoples that have been partakers with you, they're going to suffer if they're on the soils of America. The ones that are on the other side of the world, they're just going to go into captivity. But the ones that are here, they're going to be destroyed with you from thy youth. Because people think that this is something new. No, this is something they've been doing. When you go back to the origins of the Illuminati, so-called, it goes back to the Bavarian faction, which is Germany, back in 1776, started up by Adam Weishaupt or Adam Weishaupt. You know, and then you go before that to the 1500s, you have the Alumbrados of Spain. This is nothing new. And ever since the Renaissance, they've been moving forward to establish this. All right? Listen, they're not connected to the Most High on the right-hand side. They're connected to the Most High on the left-hand side. They shall wander everyone to his quarter, none shall save thee, right? Because all these nations that, leave out of here because they see something's wrong, they're going to get the hell away from you. Because this place is going to be destroyed. And after the destruction, in Revelation 9:20, and the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils, and idols of gold, and silver, and brass, and stone, and of wood, which neither can see, nor hear, nor walk. Right. And they're not doing this openly. But when you look at these different secret parties and things that they do, that's exactly what they're doing. Worshiping these demons. And there's all kind of information out, on this stuff. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their theft. So they're not going to repent. Remember, Esau cannot repent, and they won't repent. This is why what's reserved for them is slavery, and afterwards destruction. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say, Shalom.